Coco was alone most of the time, and it did not matter how much he called for her. She would not answer him. At first, he whispered her name into the stillness, like a secret he was almost ashamed to share. But the house did not care. The air swallowed his little voice. The walls gave nothing back. So he tried louder, again and again. Mama? The word stretched thin, echoing faintly down empty halls. Silence. He waited. He always waited. Sometimes he thought he heard the floor creak, like she was walking toward him. But it was only the house breathing, or the wind outside pressing against the glass. He would press his ear to the door, straining his small hand against the wood. Nothing. Sometimes Coco spoke in his head instead of aloud. She's coming. She has to be. She always comes back, doesn't she? But the thoughts felt slippery, like they belonged to someone else. Sometimes he was sure they weren't his. Coco remembered her voice, soft, low, always tired but warm. She used to hum at night. The song had no words, only gentle sounds that rose and fell like rocking waves. Sometimes he tried to hum it back to himself, but the notes came out wrong, too sharp, too thin, like his throat wasn't built the same way hers was. He hated that. It made him cry. The room was big and empty, though Coco had grown used to its corners. He knew where the shadows piled deepest. He knew how the wallpaper peeled like shedding skin, how the carpet smelled damp no matter how much time passed. There was a chair, a table, a cracked mirror leaning against the wall. He did not like looking in the mirror, though, because sometimes the reflection did not quite match him. I remember holding her hand. She said mine was small. She said mine was warm. But when I think about it now, I can't remember what her hand felt like. Was it soft? Or was it rough? Did she squeeze me tight? Or not at all? Sometimes I think she had claws, but that does not make sense, does it? He waited again, sat on the floor, legs tucked up to his chest. His stomach twisted and growled. Hunger was his companion now, patient and sharp. "Mama?" he whispered this time, softer, like if he spoke too loud, the hunger might grow teeth and bite him from the inside. No answer. The shadows deepened. The nights were the worst. Coco remembered being told once, maybe by her, maybe by someone else, that if you stayed quiet, you could hear the stars. He wanted that to be true, but when he listened, all he heard was the sound of his own breathing, wet, uneven, sometimes clicking at the back of his throat. No stars, only him. Why won't she come back? Why won't she answer me? I have been good. I have been quiet. I have waited like she asked. I don't go past the door. I don't go into the hall. I don't chase the voices that whisper sometimes. I stay. I stay. I stay. Mama? Time was strange in the house. Sometimes it stretched forever. Sometimes he blinked and hours had passed. The light through the window was gray, then black, then gray again, and Coco lost count of how many times it had changed. His throat hurt from calling. He curled into himself. His skin prickled. The hunger gnawed again, stronger. He thought of her face, soft eyes, a gentle smile. But when he tried to focus on the details, the features slid away. He could never remember her nose or her teeth. That really scared Coco. He crawled closer to the mirror once. dragging his small body across the carpet. The glass was cracked, the image warped, but still he wanted to see. He wanted to check if he was still a boy. For a moment he thought he was. Pale cheeks, wide eyes, messy dark hair, just a lonely child. But then the image blinked at the wrong time, and the mouth opened too wide, and the eyes glowed faintly like coals left in the oven. He screamed and threw the mirror face down. After that, he kept to the corners. Mama, I don't want to be here anymore. Please, please, I am scared of myself. Sometimes he dreamed. The dreams were bitter because in them she always came. She held him, rocked him, sang the wordless lullaby. But in the dream, he never had hands. He only clung to her with claws. And she bled and bled and still sang to him, even as her blood soaked him through. He woke hungry. The house seemed to lean closer around him. The walls too tight, the floor too soft. He pressed his small hands over his ears, but the silence was too loud. He couldn't wait anymore. He began to crawl toward the door. I know she told me to stay, but maybe she is out there. Maybe she is waiting for me. Maybe she is calling back, but I can't hear her unless I move. Mama? Mama? I'm leaving the house. He pulled the door open. The hallway beyond stretched forever, lined with doors that looked all the same. He took a step, then another. His bare feet made no sound. The air smelled sharp, metallic. The whispers started then, soft, winding between the cracks of the walls. He didn't understand the words, but they made him feel heavy. They pressed him down. He stumbled, fell to his knees, and then he heard it. Her voice. Mama! He gasped, scrambling forward. "Yes," the voice said. "I'm here." He rushed toward it, heart pounding. The hallway bent and twisted, but he didn't care. The voice grew clearer, warmer, softer. She was back. She was back. He rounded a corner, and there, at the end of the hall, stood a figure, a woman, her arms open wide. "Mama!" he cried. He ran. She had come back at last. The house had called her, as it always did. She had sworn she would not return, but some bonds are not so easily cut. Her child's voice rang out, high and desperate. Her heart clenched. She had left him too long. She would take him in her arms. She would forgive. She would forget. But when he reached her, when the dim light finally revealed him, her breath caught in her throat. This was not her boy. The thing rushing toward her wore his voice, his sighs, his pleading eyes, but its skin was too thin, stretched over the wrong bones. Its teeth jutted, jagged, where no child's teeth should be. And its hands, oh God, its hands, were claws, slick and black, reaching for her. It smiled. It called her Mama, and she screamed. The house swallowed the sound, and Coco, still a child in his own mind, wrapped his arms around her at last.